Okay, everybody, let's welcome the captain of Crushers GC and the current U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau.
Thank you, guys.
Bryson, now that you've had a minute, and I mean 1 minute, to take a breath, can you sum up what these last 3 days have been like for you?
The last 3 days have been wild. Overwhelming gratitude. Just a lot of thanks from everybody. The support and the care that everybody has shown me and brought to me, and the love that they've shown me has been inspiring. It's what keeps me going. I've been running on probably like a cumulative total in the past 3 days, like 12, maybe 12 hours of sleep, maybe. So you guys are the reason why I keep going. And it's been fantastic. Just being on Jimmy Fallon, the Today Show, the Pat McAfee Show and CNBC, just everything. It's been a wild transformation, and certainly blessed.
So that moment yesterday when you pulled up to the clubhouse and you had every single person from LIV Golf standing there cheering you on, what did that feel like?
Come on, Abe. Thanks, guys. The fireball's back there. Support's awesome. It's funny. Everybody talks about LIV Golf and the team aspect, and we have our own pods and whatnot. Thanks, Serge. Love you, brother. It's exactly stuff like that. This isn't just about team golf and having our own teams. We're doing our own things. We truly care about what we're trying to provide for the game of golf, and we're moving. It's moving in a really positive direction, and having the support of everybody there, all the staff and the volunteers, and just the clubhouse employees, and you name it, just everybody, the support, the full-blown support, walking out of that car and raising the trophy, and it's truly for LIV. And what they've done for me, the chance they took on me, and the chance I took on you guys, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship that I think has just been awesome. It's been awesome. The thanks has just been out of this world. I couldn't imagine a more awesome scenario.
People are now calling you the people's champ. What do you make of that?
I'm humbled, very humbled by it. I've always wanted to do really cool things for the game of golf, whatever that is. When I was younger, I felt like I was called to do something in the game. And getting to this point in my life where I've had struggles, I've done some things I shouldn't have done, said some things I shouldn't have said, and messing up and learning from those mistakes, and learning patience, resilience, determination, continuing to grow in that capacity, and then getting to a place where I finally get to showcase my true self and show others what this great game means to me. It's given me so much. It's time for me to give back, and that's what I love most. That's why this was so important for everyone to touch the trophy. I wanted everybody to experience it, because it wasn't just for me. It was for the turnaround, everyone looking at me going, oh, wow, that person's different than what I thought. It was for them, those people that saw who I now am, who I am. And that's what I wanted people to feel is that involvement, that appreciation from me saying thank you. Meant a lot.
We love you.
Thanks.
Most genuine person in the world. Bryson, I'm going to read you some stats. In the 24 hours since you won, your Google search went up by 250%. You gained 150,000 new followers across your platforms. Your Stitch and Crutchers collab sold out, and tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect. What do you make of that?
can't keep giving me these stats. You're making me get emotional. I haven't truly cried yet, and I don't want this to be the time I cry. I got to say, I'm humbled by all of it. I never would have thought that from a year and a half ago, things would be where they're at right now. And I can't tell you how much everybody means to me, and the people that stuck around, the people that were there pushing me and giving me that motivation. Paul Casey, Charles Howell, Honorbon, Cabell, Ron, Brett and Connor, obviously, Jibo, just everyone for pushing me, continuing to push, saying, you got this, man. Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming. I don't know what else to say. It's with complete thanks and gratitude.
Okay, I'm going to give you, you already know these stats. These aren't new ones, okay?
Okay.
Okay. You have had the best finishes in majors of any other player this year. You had a 6th place finish in the Masters, a solo second at the PGA, and a U.S. Open win. There is lots of chatter asking if you are the best golfer in the world right now. How do you feel that you are the best golfer in the world right now?
Yeah, so what's funny is in 2018, when I won back-to-back FedEx Cup playoff events, I felt like, even though the OWGR didn't reflect me being number one, I felt like I was number one in the world. I felt like I was playing good enough to where I could win this week, I could win again, and I could win again. And that was kind of the same thing that I sort of feel right now. I don't feel like the stats reflect purely what is it shows exactly, but being 10th, I think I am, is what it says, is awesome for only playing a few events, and then most of them being majors. Am I the best player in the world? It's not for me to decide. I'm just going to go out there and play the best golf I possibly can and try to get that darn ball in the hole quicker than everybody else. I'm not going to put a label or title on myself. That's not what I do. I'm here to go play the best golf I can and inspire others and give people some great entertainment.
Has to feel good to be part of that conversation, though.
Yeah, definitely. Much respect. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, last one from me. Mr. McAllister over here put together an amazing media guide this year, and he asked the question, what is your hardest golf shot? You answered it.
Yeah.
The 60-yard bunker shot. That was, it all came down to that. Even John and Tyrrell were up here just a minute ago talking about it was probably the best shot to win a major in the history of golf. What do you make of you saying that that is your hardest shot to make? It all came down to that, and that's how you secured this win.
I mean, what do you say? I don't know. The best thing I could say is that I practiced it as a junior kid. Just a little kid out there going and hitting balls in the weirdest places, up in trees and bushes. And I remember Tiger talking about that. I would just go place golf balls in random places, and I wanted to be like Tiger. So what did I do? I went out and threw golf balls in dirt and bad lies and bad bunker lies and long bunker shots, and I tried to do everything and anything to get that golf ball in the hole. So as much as I am a very mechanical, methodical person, there's an artistry to me that not too many people know, but I hope they are starting to see. And that 60-yard, 55-yard bunker shot, 60-yard bunker shot, whatever it was, when I got up there, the one thing that gave me a lot of comfort was Jibo telling me, Bryson, I've seen you hit way more difficult shots than this. You got this. And I stepped in there and executed it. And I wanted to tap in, but I got up to 4 feet, and I was ready to go nuts. And you could see me kind of like get after it with Jibo saying, let's go. That was so big. But I knew I had a 4-footer to make. It wasn't just a tap in. So The 60-yard bunker shot, yeah, that was a good call. And for all to come together like that is, I guess some could say, fate.
Love it. And let Mike ask a few.
Okay. So kind of going off that, Bryson, obviously LIV is attracting new fans to the sport. Can you just explain, maybe in layman's terms, why that shot is so difficult for not just you, but for almost all professional golfers?
From a technicality standpoint, you can't miss it a millimeter behind the ball or a millimeter too close to the ball. From 60 yards with an open face, it's an explosion shot, and if you catch it just a little thin, I'm heading into that clubhouse. There is no room for error, very, very little room for error. And for it to even go that far out of a bunker takes a pretty darn good amount of strength. And, you know, if I chunked it too, it's short, hits the front edge, and comes right back down. And so now I'm trying to get up and down just to get into a playoff, right? So the difficulty was through the roof, and it's something that I never wish anyone to have that experience. But in a U.S. Open, the toughest test in golf, you get presented that, you just got to go full force into it and just embrace it and say, look, this is what the game of golf has given me. I've practiced this before. You just got to execute it. But the difficulty level was through the roof. I mean, I knew how precise I needed to be. And I remember looking down at the bunker and seeing just a small sliver of shiny sand about 1.5 inches behind the ball. And I just was like, just go right through that area. And that's all I thought of. And I knew how much energy to give it based on how I was swinging it. And I hit it just flawlessly. When it came out, my eyes popped up, they widened. And I'm like, that's perfect. And it landed perfect, and it ran out. I'm like, let's go. That was big. Gives me chills thinking about that. The difficulty was through the roof. I can't explain, unless somebody experiences that for themselves, I can't explain how difficult it truly was.
And just in general, obviously, people know you or have known you for your distance off the tee. But your wedge play and your short game has been incredible. Can you just talk about the transformation of that, or the evolution of that in terms of your short game, and maybe it's people are just now starting to appreciate that aspect of your game?
Yeah, I mean, I've always struggled with wedging growing up, and as I got on tour, I got a lot better. That was a big fallout in my game, and I worked on it, continue to work on it, and subtly improved in certain areas, learned certain shot shapes with it. So, for example, what I mean shot shape is Josh Gregory, who was my coach at SMU for the first few years. He taught me a shot at Colonial. Man, this is 2018 or something like that, 2019. May have been actually 2020 or something like that. I don't remember, but he taught me it. And it's where I hood the face, and I don't let, for into the green shots, I don't let the leading edge dig into the ground. I actually only use the toe of the club, so there's less surface area, so it can go right through nicely into a very into the green situation. So there's a lot of times that I actually used that out at Pinehurst, where I turned and hooded it down and kind of hit that punch, bump, and run. Like on 6, the last round, there was that huge upslope. I hit it short of the green. I was really bummed. Thought I had a great shot onto the green. Turned the face in, hooded it, and hooked it into the hill and bounced it up perfectly to 4 feet. And it was shots like that I had learned over the course of time. One other thing, too, is I learned what bounce works perfectly for me. Like, I almost have no bounce on my wedge, but it's a wider sole, and that was a massive thing for me. And I literally built it, I think, about just less than a month ago. And so my wedge game has just gotten really good recently because of that grind. And so it was an accumulation of a couple factors that has allowed me to have this wedge game where it was ready to go for Pinehurst.
One last question for me. You're a numbers guy, obviously. How many people have touched the U.S. Open since you won?
I'd estimate probably a couple thousand by now, at least. Oh, yeah. And it's going to increase. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Over here, Bryson.
Yeah, Bryson, you talk about the mistakes, the adversity, even the obstacles that you faced. How does it feel to win the U.S. Open, overcoming those things? But how do you keep yourself grounded within that high?
You know, for me, I have to thank God. I'm a religious person, and that's a big thing for me. And so keeping myself grounded, that's one way for sure. And having a great team around me is another. Great family. And through the adversity and struggle, having the right people around you. That's the most important thing you can have whenever somebody's struggling, whoever it is. It could be someone in here today. You know, if you're really struggling, you just got to go say what's on your mind. Don't be afraid to someone that you trust and know that's going to be there for you. And so that's how I was able to get through a lot of that adversity, is having the right people around me. And then staying grounded is, it's a big macro vision. This is not just about me winning tournaments. This is about us, and I can say us as LIV, and everybody really meaning and really trying to expand this game globally and grow the game. There's 700 million potential golfers, and right now I think there's just over 100 million that are playing consistently, and we want to get that number closer, that 700 million. So however we can do that, and you're going to see some really cool changes over the next few years in regards to LIV, and I'm not going to give too much away, but there's a really cool mission and belief that we have in what we're going to do, and what we're going to accomplish for the game. So subtly, there's some awesome stuff coming, but that's how I keep myself grounded and focus on what the big picture is. Yeah.
Bryson, I know you mentioned that it's frustrating that you're not going to get the Olympic opportunity, but could you explain specifically what frustrates you about that? You know, like, what will you miss most about not having that chance?
Yeah, well, it's funny because in 2020, I was on the team. I got COVID the week before, and I couldn't go to the Olympics. And that was frustrating. I have always loved representing Team USA, whatever it's been, the World Team Amateur, the Walker Cup, Ryder Cup, President's Cup. It's been some of the greatest moments of my life. So anytime you get a chance to represent your country, I'm all for it. And not being able to go in 2020 was unfortunate for sure. It was very disappointing, but I got sick, and we took the precautions and made the right decisions, and I got healthy from it. I recovered. I got my smell back. It was all good. But that stung. And then this time around, yeah, it's disappointing, but I understand the decisions I made, and the way things have played out has not been necessarily perfectly according to plan. And you know, I've done my best up till now to give myself a chance according to the OWGR, but I realize and respect where the current situation of the game is, and albeit it's frustrating and disappointing, hopefully 2028 will be a little different situation, and it'll make it that much sweeter.
You mentioned you're disappointed. Did you think maybe when you signed with LIV that by the time the Olympics rolled around, you would maybe get yourself in shape to go? Either there'd be an agreement, or you would find a way to get the points. Yeah.
Either of those situations. That's kind of what I thought, and hasn't worked out that way. And again, I respect the decision I made, and it is what it is. It hurts, but you know what? There's another one 4 years later.
How's it going, Bryson? So Nashville, we're anticipating it will be one of the loudest and most rocking events of the year. How do you plan on contributing to that?
More great shots, more exciting, thrilling, amazing shots, and you know, I gotta recover and get ready for Friday, which I should be ready to do. But certainly, it's been a whirlwind for me, and a lot of adrenaline going through my body the past few days. There's going to be a adrenaline dump here in the next day probably, and I gotta get myself back up and ready for Friday. I feel like I've done a pretty good job of controlling a lot of the uncontrollables that I didn't know was going to come about from this, and we just got to keep on the path and give the fans an exciting weekend. That's what I'm here for.
Bryson, how's it going? First, I just want to say thank you. I got to touch the trophy already on 18 fairway. That was something I'll always remember. Another thing I will remember is riding home on Saturday night in the shuttle, a young golf fan next to me was so happy he had your autograph in the dead center of his autograph pin. Can you just tell us how that makes you feel to be, a player that is a favorite of some of these young crowds? And, is that a real big part of your impact you want to have on golf?
So when I was 11, I was lucky enough to play in this charity golf tournament in Madera, California called the Save Mart Shootout. And there was a bunch of pros that came there to support the Valley Children's Hospital and numerous other foundations. And my dad was the general manager of that golf course at the time. And when I was 11, it was the first experience with professionals. I went out there and met Autica Sorenstam, Nancy Lopez, Arnold Palmer, Nick Watney, Jason Gore, Peter Jacobson, Sign Boy. I met all these pros as the son of the general manager, the GM. And randomly for their clinic, I got thrown in to hitting 3 drives in front of all those pros. And I was so nervous. I mean, you couldn't believe it. I was more nervous than the bunker shot last week. And I went up there, and I didn't know how to speak in front of people. I was mumbling and stuttering all the way through it. Peter Jacobson helped me through it, and Simon was like, "Get it out. Come on, get it out." And he goes, "Okay, fine. Just go hit a shot. Go hit a shot." I hit a shot, and he goes, "Oh, my gosh, that was awesome." Hit a second shot. "That's right on the top of each other. That's unbelievable." And hit the third one. He's like, "You could throw a small handkerchief over those golf balls." And there was so much support of hitting 3 drives, perfect, under the gun, under pressure situation as an 11-year-old. And the support that I got from all those pros going up to me and saying, "We'll see you out there on tour in a few years. We'll see you out there." And the signing, the autographs I still have the hat that has all the signatures from the Save Mart Shootout. That's what changed my life. That's what made me want to be a professional golfer and give back to the game of golf. And that inspired me and pushed me to this point, to where it's my time to do that. It's my time to sign. It's my time to give back to those kids, to inspire a younger generation.
Yeah, Bryson, congratulations.
Thank you.
When you were at the U.S. Open, you were signing autographs, and there was a kid who said, "I love your content." And I'm wondering, why do you make YouTube videos when you don't have to? And it could come at a compromising risk with your time at becoming the top golfer in the world.
It was a risk a year and a half ago. But I knew it was a way for me to get my voice out there, inspire a younger generation. I saw what Mr. Beast did in 2016, all the way up to where he is now. Over 200 million followers, a kid from Greenville, North Carolina. And, just an entertaining character, not an athlete. I said, why can't an athlete do something like that? Why is that not possible? He's inspiring millions of people. Why aren't we maximizing that? Why isn't there an opportunity to do that? And I saw that light, and I said, look, I want to try this. So it was in 2021, I think, we produced our first video. It was a week-on-tour video, and it got 1 million views. And that was with no production budget. There was no, we're just going out there and filming and then pumping it on YouTube. And no paid ads, no media spends or anything like that. It just happened. And everybody loved it. And I said, wow, there's some potential here. How do I make this not only legitimate, but how do I do it all the time and create great content that people want to see, so people can not only be entertained, but see who I truly am? And that was kind of the foundational build off of that. And it's grown into what it is today. And it does require some finagling in regards to how much time do I spend there and how much time do I focus on being the best golfer I can be. But what's nice is that when I'm playing these challenges, it keeps me in that creative mindset. It keeps me focused on playing golf and how do I shoot the lowest score? How do I do the best in that moment? So even though I'm filming, I'm still practicing and working. And so it's this symbiotic relationship that I have with YouTube that allows me to be the best that I am currently and give my best to the fans.
Hi, Bryson. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's 2024. If the LIV golfers were presidential candidates, who would you trust to run the country?
That's such a. Oh, that's a pigeonholed question. All right. Shoot, I don't think any of us are smart enough to do that. There's so much that goes on with that. I don't think any of us have the right to run the country. I'd love to help in some capacity, but shoot, running it, there's so much that goes on. We're just golfers.
Well, in the same vein, let's say you were stuck in the middle of the road in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., you need help.
Oh, yeah.
Which LIV golfer are you calling first for help?
Probably, I'd have to say Phil, because he's the most positive-minded person out there. When things are going bad, he is still, everything's great. It's all good. Charles Howell. Charles Howell would be the best person to pick up the phone and call. He's going to answer, and he's going to give you every scenario in which to make it make sense and figure out how to get you out of there. Yes, absolutely. I got you. No problem. We're going to yes, we're going to do this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Bryson, Dan here.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Good to see
Well, speaking of impressive stats and coming off of last week, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but our conversation we did have about your method of testing your golf balls,
Yes.
now known as the salty balls.
Yep.
The video of our conversation got over 100 million views across platforms, which is wild. Was that surprising to you at all that particular method you're using became so popular among golf fans and non-golf fans?
I knew it eventually would hit. I just didn't know how it would hit. And clearly saying those two words kind of made it go viral in a sense. So thank you for that interpretation of it. I didn't want to talk about it that way, but you certainly did. And look, I will say we clean them off after. So they do get clean. They're not always just salty.
You give them that hawk tui?
No.
Okay. But, of course, I'm always so deeply interested in your process and things you do. And so when we get together, of course, I'm filled with questions. And the one that really stuck out to me lately is you during your range process with the headphones in.
Okay.
And, of course, my mind churns, and I can't help but wonder what you're listening to in those headphones. But before you answer, I have 3 guesses, if you don't mind, to see if I can get it.
Let's see.
All right, first guess. The Lex Friedman podcast discussing quantum physics and the theory of the universe.
That would be a good one, but I don't.
Okay.
That was close.
The extended audio version of Sun Tzu's Art of War.
That, you know what? I might actually listen to that.
Okay. Wow, I'm getting closer.
Yeah.
Well, then this one, we'll see. Taylor Swift, Shake It Off on repeat because we know the haters are going to hate. Is that what's in the headphones? Or please tell us.
None of those are in my headphones. But the Art of War is a good one. I think that'd be like an inspirational. It's always motivational. Whatever it is, I'm trying to continue to inspire creativity and whatnot. So a lot of it's not really words. It's more of it's just audio. It's literally it's called chill step. It's a weird one. Probably people are like, what is that? It's more upbeat, inspirational, euphoric music. Okay, so I grew up listening to Coldplay. Coldplay is my favorite artist, one of my favorite artists. I've got a bunch of them. Kings of Leon's great. Ben Bomer. Have you heard of Ben Bomer?
Yeah.
Okay, so that type of music is what I listen to. It's more upbeat, positive, motivational. That's the type of music I listen to. And then every once in a while, Katy Perry, So.
Just curious if you'd ever be willing to share the playlist so we could all follow along and get in the zone like Bryson when we're at home training ourselves.
It depends on the mood. If I'm speed training, I'll go in some hardcore funk music.
I thought you were going to say like some Victor Hovland.
No, not heavy death metal.
Okay.
No. It's funk music. It's pretty heavy, upbeat, intense music for speed training. And then when I'm playing around to golf, it's more of motivational, relaxing, but positive music like Ben Bomer. Coldplay even sometimes, Kings of Leon. What else? There's probably artists you have never heard of, Adam, ATTOM, or Jero, those sorts of people. They definitely keep my mind in the right space. Definitely not heavy death metal.
Okay, we have time for one more for Bryson.
Thanks again, Bryson.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and good to see you again.
Thank you.
What's up, Bryson?
What's up, man?
So I'm from the Silvis area, first of all, and like she said over there, right, your Google searches are up 1 billion%. You got all these new followers, right? And so I'm from the Silvis area originally. So I was there for your first win at the John Deere Classic. It's
Yep.
my favorite tournament of all time. I go there every year. I still remember watching you on that Sunday.
Yeah.
Awesome moment.
Thank
so
you.
if I want to be like you, can you email me blueprints, or how do I get those golf clubs that you got going on?
My golf clubs. They're one of one right now, and we're working on building a set for the mass consumers. But it takes a little bit of time to get everything in production in the right way. You're going to see some pretty interesting stuff coming out here soon, within the next month, with a driver that could be pretty unique for the market, and it'll help a lot of golfers out.
So I don't need my own 3D printer?
Nah. We'll take care of that for you.
And then last one, is the Payne Stewart hat ever going to make a return now?
Great question. In the right setting, in the right moment, it probably will.
Thanks, Bryson. You're the
Thank
man.
you. Thanks.
Bryson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's get you to your next obligation.
Let's do it. Thank you all.